really good.
Are you two done?
We're done.
Are you guys done?
Yeah, okay, we're done.
I just. Well, the hell is Brock Purdy? This man's a Superman.
Yes, please get to Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Would you, Greg? Jeez.
Fill us in on how he's looking to do and how everything's going.
Now he's doing great. Just a few minutes ago, and that was the talk on sports radio here. Was about Brock, and the injury occurred January the 29th in Philly, and we thought he was going to have the surgery on February 21. I remember you had him on, Dan, at the Super Bowl, and we had him on too on Radio Road, and that got delayed. Dr. Meister saw some inflammation, and it was done March the 10th, and then he's back at practice the first day. Less than 6 months after the injury, and 4.5 months actually after the surgery. And I had his dad on, Sean Purdy, was on the radio with me a couple of days ago. And, Sean's a minor league pitcher, actually in the San Francisco Giants chain. Pitched for the Phoenix Giants for a while, and they lived down there. Anyway, he oversaw it all, knew his rehab guy, Coker, and Brock's just amazing. I was just thinking about it today. You learn a lot about a guy, obviously in the circumstances and how he got into the lineup and played. But then you also learn about how he handles adversity. And this is, not life and death, but his career had a major pause, and he handled it so amazingly. Everything he does. And there's also an injury. You got to be careful about working too hard, too bad.
Yeah.
He didn't do it the right way. And then, honestly, watching him in the practice field, Sam, he's throwing the ball better. I think he's got more velocity, and when you have a full-blown Tommy John, and they go in and they take a ligament from somewhere else, and they wrap it a second time. A lot of baseball pitchers come back and they're throwing harder. He didn't have the Tommy John; he had the internal brace. But there's something in that elbow that they've left in there, and I don't know what it's made of. But I'm the equipment guys are giving me the readings, and they're telling me the GPS tracker and the velocity. He's throwing the ball a little harder than he did even pre-surgery. So everybody's so excited about everything he did. But it's just another example of what a special guy Brock Purdy is and why we call him the Black Star.
And I'd say a lot of that is he's finally getting that body into it. I've been telling that since ninth grade. Use your body, use your shoulder, use your hips. So he's almost being forced to be more mechanically sound. Not that he wasn't before, Greg, but to that point, from that standpoint, the Brock Purdy report. Talk to us about the Nick Bosa report before we get you out of here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while, honestly. I think it's going to be, we're going to scrimmage the Raiders next week in Vegas. I don't think we'll be on that trip. I don't know if he's going to sign before we play any games. It's going to be a big contract. It's going to be the biggest contract in the history of the franchise. It's going to be the biggest contract probably in the history of the league, non-quarterback. I think this guy, Brian Arod from CAA, is trying to get Aaron Donald money a little more. So it's going to be big. I'm just hoping, he's got to show up in Pittsburgh first game of the year. He can't get into that. I remember OJ, I think before you were even a Bill, after he went for 2003 and 73, he didn't sign the morning of the game against the Raiders on Monday Night Football to start 74. He signed that morning. He went out and played. He wasn't quite OJ. They still won. So I don't think it's going to be that kind of deal where he signs the day of the game or that weekend. I'm hoping, what I think is, get him in by Labor Day, Monday, and then have him come back and start practice on Wednesday before the season opener in Pittsburgh. But I think this one's going to take a while. It's going to stretch into the start of the year. His older brother, Joey, he missed his first couple of games. He didn't come and sign. I think Tom Condon Sr. was his agent. And now he's got A-Roll, too, from the same firm, CAA. But I remember I saw his first game against the Raiders. I called that game. He had 2 sacks that day. So he was great right away. But you don't want him to have to miss any time. So I think it'll take almost all the preseason, but let's just hope he's in by Labor Day Monday.
30 seconds. Are they going to keep Trey Lance or will they unload him?
I don't know. That's the big determination. Sam Darnold. That was one great thing about the Brock injury as Brock had the surgery on March the 10th. The new league year started that Monday. They signed Sam Darnold right away because they weren't sure about Brock. With the elbow, Trey was coming off an ankle, 2 surgeries. So you got Sam Darnold. I'm a huge fan of Sam Darnold. Then they got Brandon Allen, who was backing up Burrow the last couple of years, so they like him. So I don't know. These preseason games are going to be big for Trey Lance, whether it's trade market or to force his way on the team. But, last year they had a lot of problems with quarterbacks getting hurt. So I would not be shocked if they kept 4, but you'd like to do it 3 on the 53, 1 on the practice squad. So to answer your question, it's a big training camp for Trey Lance.
Well, please tell Brock I said hi. Tell him no slacking and Cadillacing. Remember that right there, Greg. No slacking and Cadillacing. Give him my best. Give him a little bro hug and say, Coach Bernucci said, let's go.
Sports Phone 68 back in the 70s. Wow.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
the general manager was Bill Heyer or something like that.
Bill Dwyer.
Yes.
Bill Dwyer.
Bill Dreyer, that's the guy. Yeah, he hired me.